Despite the changes, Amina kept up appearances. She still went to work, still smiled at her colleagues, but the mask she wore was cracking. Her performance at work began to slip. She missed deadlines, showed up late, and had trouble focusing. Her boss, a stern yet fair man named Mr. Oching, called her into his office one afternoon. The conversation was brief but pointed. "Amina, I don't know what's going on with you, but your work has declined sharply," Mr. Oching said. "You're a talented administrator, but you're not performing at the level we expect. If this continues, I may have to reconsider your position here." Amina left the office that day feeling like she had been hit by a truck. She had always prided herself on her work ethic, and now it seemed like she was losing everything bit by bit. But even then she couldn't stop. The need to gamble, the urge to light another cigarette, was too powerful. Soon, her personal life began to crumble as well. She stopped attending family gatherings, feeling too ashamed of the woman she had become. Her mother, who had always been a source of strength, noticed the change in her daughter. The once close relationship between them became strained, filled with silent dinners and unspoken words. One evening, Amina's mother, Mama Wamboi, confronted her. "Amina, my daughter, what is happening to you? You've become a shadow of the woman I raised," Mama Wamboi said, her voice filled with concern. "You're distant, you're not the same. Is it the gambling? Is it something else?" Amina's heart ached as she looked into her mother's eyes. She wanted to tell her the truth, to confess her failures, but the shame was too much to bear. She simply muttered an excuse. "I'm just tired, Mama. I need to focus on my work." But deep down, Amina knew she was lying. She was losing herself, losing everything that had once mattered. The tipping point came one cold Thursday evening. Amina had been at the casino all day, losing again and again. Her bank account was empty, her credit cards maxed out, and she had no more friends to borrow from. With the last of her money gone, she sat alone at a slot machine, staring at the screen, willing the numbers to line up, willing the coins to fall. But they didn't. And in that moment, the weight of everything hit her like a wave. Her addiction had stolen her dreams, her family's trust, and her future. Amina stood up, leaving the casino without a word. She walked through the dark streets of Nairobi, not knowing where she was going or what she was looking for. The city, once so familiar, now felt alien. She was lost, consumed by guilt and regret. She thought of her mother, her family, her friends, all of them torn apart by her choices. She had lost everything. That night, Amina sat in her small apartment, alone. She had no money left, no one to turn to, and no way of fixing the mess she had made. She took a long drag from a cigarette, the smoke filling her lungs as the tears came. Her addiction had taken everything from her, and now she was left with nothing. The next morning, Amina made a decision. It wasn't going to be easy, but it was time to seek help. She reached out to a support group for gambling addiction, a group that had been recommended by a friend she had once confided in. The road to recovery was long, filled with setbacks, but slowly, Amina began to rebuild. She sought counseling, attended meetings, and most importantly, made peace with herself. Months passed, and Amina started to piece her life back together. She found a new job, one that wasn't as glamorous as the office administrator position she had lost, but it gave her a fresh start. She reconciled with her mother, who had never stopped loving her despite everything. The addiction still lurked in the background, but Amina had learned how to manage it, how to fight back. One day, as she sat on the balcony of her modest apartment, gazing at the rising sun over Nairobi, Amina realized that she was not the same woman she had been. She had lost everything, but in doing so, she had found herself again. The journey had been long and painful, but she was determined not to let her past define her. She had survived, and she would keep moving forward, one step at a time.